This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 3 men arrested in $1.75 million ganja bust in Portland. 3 men were arrested as police seized approximately 250 pounds of ganja in Portland on Thursday, the second major marijuana bust in the eastern Jamaica parish this month. Reports are that lawmen acting on intelligence were conducting spot checks on the Manchonil Main Road in search of firearms and illegal drugs about 2:45 p.m. when a green and red 1984 Leland motor truck was stopped and searched. According to the police, the vehicle was found to contain 5 black boxes containing several parcels of ganja wrapped with brown masking tape. The ganja reportedly weighed approximately 250 pounds with a street value of about $1.75 million. 3 men were arrested in connection with the seizure, the second major ganja bust in just over a week, which the police have linked to the illicit guns for drugs trade between Jamaica and Haiti. On February 9, the Portland police seized 315 pounds of ganja at the Sand Shore Fishing Beach in Manchonil. Over the past 10 days, we have seized close to 8,000 pounds of ganja with a street value estimated at $56 million, said head of the Portland Police Division, Superintendent Kenneth Chin. The Portland Police are committed to do our part in dismantling this leg of the guns for drugs trade. I thank the team that participated in this operation and all the members of the Portland Police Division for their continued efforts in our intense road policing activities, which are reaping success, added Chin, as he urged the residents of the parish to work with the police to make Portland the safest place in Jamaica. Indicom wants new anti-gang task force members to wear body cameras. The Independent Commission of Investigations Thursday called for the wearing of body cameras by members of the recently formed Police Military Anti-Gang Task Force. Commissioner of Indicom Hugh Faulkner told a virtual press conference Thursday that with the joint forces operating in such an intense environment, the lack and the non-usage of body cameras by members of the security forces during operations remains a major concern. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson said on February 11 that the task force, which had been set up for only 1 week prior, had already been reaping success with the seizure of several illegal firearms and 1,200 pounds of compressed ganja. The task force also disrupted an illegal alcohol operation that funded a gang and made numerous arrests of alleged lottery scammers and violent criminals. The news has learned that Indicom has never been provided with footage from body-worn cameras, despite a program launched in 2016 following the donation of 120 of the devices by the United States government. There was a push to have body cameras become a common feature of police uniforms since then, but even after a pilot program, which saw the devices being distributed to St. Andrew Central, St. Andrew South, Kingston East, Kingston Central, and the motorized patrol divisions, the program has not been able to transition from the trial stage due to lack of funding. Since that time, Indicom has been lobbying for the cameras to become a prominent feature during operations, but the situation has not improved. Faulkner lamented that some members of the security forces have been using cameras on their personal cell phones to record interactions with the public in order to defend their conduct. Digital images properly captured and extracted provide reliable accounts of incidents and minimize the exclusive reliance on human perception. A properly captured image does not leave you to any mistaken perception. Once the equipment is in good working order, there is no tampering, editing, then it can be valuable assistance to an investigation. If it is found to be inadmissible for court, it can provide other help, Faulkner said. During the press conference Thursday, it was announced that 19 people had been killed by the security forces since the start of the year. 3 of them were mentally ill. In 2021, there were 127 people shot and killed by the security forces and 68 shot and injured. In 2020, there were 115 fatal and 92 non-fatal shootings. INDECOM Assistant Commissioner Hamish Campbell meanwhile pointed to issues regarding the removal of bodies and other evidence from crime scenes and said that wearing the cameras would alleviate concerns about tampering. He said when INDECOM investigators attend the crime scenes and asked if body cameras were used, the answer was always no. He said that any footage they are provided with usually came from citizens. He added that a deceased person remaining at the scene is critical to any homicide investigation. However, it is the practice in Jamaica to remove them before independent investigators arrive. Campbell also lamented that spent bullet casings were being removed from crime scenes by the police and that some scenes were left abandoned without protection and then police would arrive. Cop confronts big man seen making out with a schoolgirl at plaza. A man who was seen making out with a schoolgirl at a popular plaza in Kingston was left feeling the full brunt of the law after he was confronted by a policeman and publicly reprimanded. Reports are that on Monday, Valentine's Day, the man was captured on video in a loving embrace with the student who was in uniform in full view of people using the drive-thru of a fast food establishment. The act not only triggered an angry reaction from scores of social media users, but it also drew the attention of a police officer who confronted the male. The officer during the confrontation carried out a search on the male and was seen scolding the man for his action. At one point, it appeared that the man received a slap from the policeman. The male was later sent from the premises. Lawmakers want JPS preference clause scrapped. Lawmakers reviewing the Electricity Act 2015 have sent a clear message that they are in favor of removing the right of first refusal provision in the legislation that is seen by some as a barrier to market reforms in the light and the power sector, where the Jamaica Public Service Company is a monopoly distributor. This proposed change would put lawmakers on a collision course with JPS, which has declared in the past that the ROFR provision should be preserved. The ROFR changed the competitive bidding energy policy and grants the JPS the right to replace its generating units when they become due to be retired, according to the schedule determined by the Portfolio Minister. Philip Paulwell, opposition member of the Joint Select Committee reviewing the act, said Thursday that the ROFR was an anachronism. I was there, so I know how it came about, but I don't believe it should be continued at this stage, and I believe it requires some negotiations with the JPS, said Paulwell, who is a former Minister of Energy. Paulwell received strong support from government member Senator Aubin Hill, who wants the ROFR removed. Hill, who is Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, acknowledged that there would have to be negotiations with the JPS to amend the contractual arrangements. However, he noted that the policymakers would have to make legislative changes. Hill said that from the onset of the negotiations, the right of first refusal was like one of those pies that people throw in your face that they used to do in college some decades ago. You just can't get around the right of first refusal and the necessity to remove it if we are going to run our country, he said. Last year, a team from Jamaica Energy Partners, which made a submission to the committee, argued that the ROFR provision should be eliminated and that the country return to the open market for all bidding for new generation capacity. Kadeen Campbell, senior legal officer in the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, sought to caution lawmakers Thursday, noting that the ROFR was a right that was attached to the license granted to the JPS. The right of first refusal is not only a requirement in the law, but it runs in the license that JPS has, Campbell said, adding that when we considered the right of first refusal, we thought not to disturb it because there is need for time. Paulwell told Campbell that the committee was signaling that they no longer found a favor with the ROFR. We can't labor this hard in this committee and some away with the status quo remaining. It is just not going to be acceptable, he said. Committee chairman and the Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, Darrell Vaz said that members of the parliamentary committee were in agreement that the ROFR provision should be changed. Last July, Joseph Williams, vice president of generation at the JPS, said that the right of replacement was integral to the Light and Power Company as the single buyer to fulfill its obligations to its customers. He said the ROFR is included in the value of the licensed business in which the company's shareholders invested. It's really equivalent to those contracts rights that are embedded in power purchase agreements, gas supply agreements, which enable the company's IPPs and the fuel suppliers to operate in the market, Williams told the committee. It is integral to our balance sheet and our ability to secure credit, which is key to our survival and the survival of the energy market, he added. The JPS executive had conceded that the ROFR was not an unconditional right, noting that based on the legislation, if the JPS failed to meet the criteria of price benchmark and the time to execute this capacity that we would want to replace could be put to tender if those conditions are not met. Williams said that the JPS has the unique role of being the generator of last resort to the system. This is an obligation that we treat with very seriously. So with that said, we strongly support the prevention of the right of first refusal within the Electricity Act, he said. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.